Hello my dear friends, welcome back to the 10th standard English language classes. Dear student, in this class we are going to deal with the new lesson, that is Gentlemen of RIO and MEDIO. Gentlemen of RIO and MEDIO. Dear student, do you know what is meant by gentleman? Yes, very good. The meaning of gentleman is nothing but a person, one who does not ready to run away from the problems or challenges. He is always ready to face the challenges and he is always stick on to the best principles in his life. He always follows the principles and he is a democratic one. He is a democratic one. And he never knows how to cheat to the other people. And he is having many good principles like humanity, courtesy, compassion, perseverance, nativity, determination, and love towards his motherland and his relatives. So we can call this person who is having all these qualities as a gentleman. Dear student, RIO in MEDIO. It is one of the places in New Mexico. It is one of the places in New Mexico which is situated on the hillock of Mexico. One of the hillocks of Mexico. Got it? So let us know more detail about gentleman of RIO in MEDIO. Before going to start the lesson, let us know brief introduction about the writer UNAA Sedillo. Who is the writer? UNAA Sedillo is the writer of this lesson. My dear pupil, his profession is lawyer. And he knows how to communicate to the people. And he acts as a mediator in this lesson. And also we can say that facilitator of this lesson. And he also knows very well about how to convince the people. Here, UNAA Sedillo, he was born on 1902 and died on 1982. In this year, he worked and he contributed to the field of literature. Was born in New Mexico. UNAA Sedillo was born in New Mexico. He worked as a lawyer. Yes, as I told, his profession, UNAA Sedillo's profession was lawyer, and has worked as lawyer and held public office in New Mexico. He held a public office in New Mexico. He wrote about Mexico and southwestern United States. Dear students, all of his works were about New Mexico and southwestern United States. The above story, Gentlemen of RIO and MEDIO, is based on the actual legal case. Yes, this actual story The present story is based on the actual legal story, actual legal case. And the student here, even Sirigere as an author, he tries to make some comfort zone to the seller as well as buyer. Here the story, the gist of the story is nothing but gentleman of RIO in MEDIO, who is also called as the good person of the village. Though he is not ready to sell his property, the author, even Sirigere, the pressure of this author, gentleman of RIO in MEDIO, finally he comes to the office of the author, and by the force of the author, the gentleman of RIO in MEDIO sold his property to American people. Here, American people are the buyers of the property. Got it? And gentleman of RIO in MEDIO, he is the seller of the property. So this story taken place between the seller and the buyer. In between, the lawyer or the author, he convinces between the two people and he makes the agreement. He makes the agreement. So this is the whole gist of the lesson. Let us know more detail about the lesson Gentleman of RIO in MEDIO. The student, come to the page number 45. Before going to start the lesson, we have a pre-introductory concept. Let me to read that. Before you read, come to the page number 45. Imagine your grandfather owns a small piece of land abundant with fruit-yielding trees. Dear students, imagine that your grandfather owns a piece of land which abundant with fruits yielding trees. It is inherited from his ancestors. Yes, he was given this piece of land from his ancestors. Your father intends to sell it, but your father pressures to his father or your grandfather to sell it. So what would be the response of your grandfather to the requisition of your father? Dear student, you might have observed in your homes or houses how the conflict arises, how the conflicts arise in your house whenever this kind of circumstances come. So it is very important, my dear student. Some questions also provided here. A. What would be the reaction of your father? Yes, what would be the reaction? Yes, the reaction of your father or grandfather, the reaction of your grandfather would be always never. Complete the dialogue between your father and your grandfather. Dear students, here some blanks are given. You should complete the dialogues. Let me begin the dialogue from father. Father, could we sell the land? Your father asked the question to his father. Then the reply of grandfather. Keep silent for a few seconds. No, we should not. It is inherited from my ancestor. Whenever your father asks the question to sell his property or their property, the reply would be like this: no, never, I wouldn't. because he has inherited this piece of land from his ancestor. So he never likes to sell this property. So this kind of competition will be there always in all the house or all the families. Got it? See, whenever the difficulties, whenever the difficult circumstances occur in the family head or your father will always take this kind of decision. So whenever this kind of decisions will be taken from your father, by your father, then your grandfather or grandmother will always become obstacles to them. Will always become obstacle to your father. So like that, isn't it? So here also, father, so what? He says. So what? Why he says so what? For the grandfather, it is my prized possession. He says, grandfather, no, it's my pride, because I am proud to say that I have got this prize by my ancestor and it is my possession. How could he sell the property to other people? He says so. And the conversation has given empty. The remaining 4 conversations should be filled by yourselves. Got it? Now come to the lesson. Read on. Gentlemen of RIO in MEDIO. Gentlemen of RIO in MEDIO, written by Sirigere. Dear students, open the page number 45 and put your finger where I read. Got it? And after the completion of my reading, you should list out the new words and their meaning. Got it? You should find out new words. Yes, follow me. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. He was in no hurry. What he had the most of was time. He lived up in RIO MEDIO, where his people had been for hundreds of years. He tilled the same land they had tilled. His house was small and wretched, but quiet. The little creek ran through his land. His orchard was narrow and beautiful. His orchard was narrow and beautiful. Then, come to the second paragraph. The day of the sale, he came into the office. His coat was old, green and faded. I thought of Senator Captain, who has been such a power with these people up there in the mountains. Perhaps it was one of his old Prince Albert's. He wore gloves, they were old and torn, and his fingertips showed through them. He carried a cane, but it was only the skeleton of a worn-out umbrella. Behind him walked one of his innumerable kin, a dark young man with eyes like a gazelle. Come to the third paragraph. The old man bowed to all of us in the room. Then he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture. In a bank he was the janitor. Then he handed his things to the boy, who stood obediently behind the old man's chair. Dear student, I hope that you understood my reading, and you will be given 2 minutes time. Read the context silently for the 2 minutes and try to find out the new words. Dear students, did you make any new words? Very good. I have also listed out some new words here from the lesson Gentlemen of RIO MEDIO. See, new words and their meanings. Look at the blackboard. Negotiation. See, what is meant by negotiation? It means official discussion. So official discussion. Who conducts official discussion in this context? Means the author. Sirigere conducts an official discussion, and he calls upon American people and gentlemen of RIO MEDIO to the public office of the author. Then, wretched. Wretched means unpleasant. So not in right order. Not in right order. So what is not in right order in this context? Means the house of the gentleman of RIO MEDIO. So what is the name of a gentleman? Yes, it will be revealed later on. Got it? Yes. See, the gentleman of RIO MEDIO's house, even though he is having big property in the village, but he doesn't know what actually the property he has. So here his property and house especially, that is unpleasant in this context, but it looks like, and it is very attractive one. Quaint. What is meant by quaint? Unusually and very attractive, especially in an old fashionized way. Yes, in the classical way, you can say that, a old fashionized way. Then creek, a small narrow stream or a river which flows in the orchard or in the property of a gentleman of RIO MEDIO. Got it? Yes, I would like to reveal the name of gentleman of RIO MEDIO. He is none other than Don Anselmo. Who is that? Don Anselmo is the gentleman of RIO MEDIO. He is having a many property. Then a small creek can be seen in this property. Then orchard. Orchard means what? A piece of land in which fruit trees are grown. So this is called as orchard. Got it? Orchard can be seen in this property. Got it? Narrowed. What is meant by narrowed? A branch of tree with twisted hard lumps. This is called narrowed. Janitor. So who is janitor here? Yes, janitor is nothing but Charlie Chaplin acted as a janitor in a film. So the comparison of Charlie Chaplin can be seen in this context. Got it? Okay, janitor, someone whose job is to look after a school or a large building. We can also say in our country, in our language, a security. You can say that security, something like that. Got it? So here, these are the new words. Got it? Dear student, I hope that you understood the new words and their meaning, and also you have also found some new words from the context. Got it? Yes. Come to the text. Gentleman of RIO MEDIO. As I told, a gentleman is a person who is stick on to the principle, to the good principles in his life. Here, Don Anselmo. Who is it? Don Anselmo is the gentleman of RIO MEDIO. Though he was not ready to sell his property, according to the force of the author, eventually he agrees to sell his property to American people. American people are the buyers of the property. See, the mediator is UNEA Sirigere. His profession is lawyer. He was doing a lawyer job and he acts as a mediator between seller and buyer. So all these events have taken in the public office of the author UNEA Sirigere. See, come to the first paragraph. It took months of negotiation. See, what took months of negotiation? What is meant by negotiation? Yes, as we found in dictionary, official discussion. So, what does it refer here? Yes, it refers to nothing but a meeting. It took months of negotiation to arrange a meeting of seller and buyer. The arranging of meeting of a seller and buyer took months of negotiation. See, after the many discussion, the person who is eventually going to sell the property, he comes to the office. He is none other than gentleman or Don Anselmo. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. The student, this old man, since he loves his property, since he loves his native place, since he loves his village very much, he never agrees for the first requisition. He never agrees for the one or two requisition. Yes, after the many requisition, the old man, Don Anselmo, or a gentleman of RIO MEDIO, agrees to come to the office of the author for the official discussion. So official discussion is nothing but to set the price of the property, to discuss about the property, and to call him to the office. So this is a very important to the author. After the understanding the mentality of the old man, the author really felt very sad about that, because the gentleman of RIO MEDIO took many time to come here, and he took a long time to attend the meeting. He was in no hurry. Who was in no hurry? Gentleman. Don Anselmo, he was not in hurry. Hurry means urgency, isn't it? See here, the old man was not actually in urgency in selling of the property, because he never thinks to sell the property to anyone. Since he loves his property, he never thinks so. So that is why it was not hurry to him. So he attended that office for a long time. After a long time, what he had the most of was time. See, he was lot of time. He was lot of time. Since he was not in hurry, he took a long time to come to the office. He lived up in RIO MEDIO. Who lived up in RIO MEDIO? Yes, gentleman, Don Anselmo. Who is that? Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo is the gentleman of RIO MEDIO. He was actually not in hurry, and he had a lot of time to sell it, and so that he lived with the people where all of them lived in RIO MEDIO, with his ancestors, with his relatives, with all his family members. He lived in the RIO MEDIO village, where his people had been for hundreds of years. In that village, RIO MEDIO village, his ancestors or his relatives or his elders had lived in that village for hundreds of years. So that he was also taught that to live there. He tilled the same land they had tilled. So what is meant by till means? Dear student, till means plow, ulume madu. Don Anselmo tilled the same land where his ancestors tilled in RIO MEDIO. So that he got this property from his ancestors. He always used to say that it was his proud. It was his proud to Don Anselmo, and he says that it was his prized possession. He never thinks to sell the property to anyone else. That is fine. He tilled the same land and he worked in the farmland and he traveled, he walked, he strolled through his creek, through his orchard, through his property. So he loved it too much. His house was small. So it is the description of the nature or beauty of the property. Now, his house was small. In that property, we can see that a house. We can see a house in the property, and it was a small. It was a small house and wretched. Dear students, we came to know what is meant by wretched in the context. Wretched means unpleasant, not in good condition, but very attractive house. But quaint. Here, quaint and unusually attractive, especially in an old-fashioned way. So it looks very attractive, especially in an old-fashioned way. The little creek means a small creek can be seen. A small stream can be seen in that property. Creek means a small narrow stream or a river. Small stream can be seen in that property. Then ran through his land. The small creek ran through his land or property. It looks very beautiful. So just imagine, my dear students, if you have this kind of property and a small creek is running through it, so how it looks? Yes, it looks very beautiful, very pleasant. Got it? Yes, and very attractive. So like that. His orchard. He has orchard also in his property. Orchard means, yes, here in this glossary, a piece of land in which fruits trees are grown. So fruits trees can be seen in that property. The orchard. Yes, orchard means consisting of many trees which fruits trees are grown. And his orchard was narrowed and very beautiful. This orchard in this property was narrowed. Narrowed means, yes, a branch of tree with a twisted hard lumps. So it has many branches. The trees have many branches and it was very, very beautiful. The orchard was very beautiful. We can see number of fruits, number of flowers and number of twigs, branches. Looks very beautiful. So this is about the brief introduction about the property of Don Ansel. Dear students, come, let us glance once again. He is the man of the principal, old man, gentleman of RIO and MEDIO. He lives in that village up to the mountain where his ancestors lived in the mountain. He tilled the same land where his ancestors tilled. Then he tilled the same land. When we come to his property, he has small house and very beautiful. It was very wretched, though it was very wretched, but it was very quaint, very attractive one. The little creek can be seen through the property, and his orchard was narrow and very beautiful. So this is the brief introduction about the property of Don Ansel. Dear students, too much question can be asked in the examination. Take down the question. Describe the property of Don Ansel. I repeat once again. Describe the property of Don Ansel. So you should write the answer which is there in the first paragraph. I hope that you understood. Next, come to the second paragraph. Dear students, in the second paragraph, the day of the sale he came into the office. Dear students, after the many requisition, many summons, many what we call for that, many asking, he comes to the office. The day of the sale he came into the office. Whose office is it? Yes, it is the office of UNAE Sirigere. This is the public office of that. Got it? Dear students, UN's public office. UN's public office. See, wherever meeting were there in that village, see, all the meetings were held at the public office of UNAE Sirigere. So here, the selling of the property of Don Anselmo to American people meeting was held in the public office of UNAE Sirigere. So on the day of sale of the property, Don Anselmo, or the old man, came into the office of UNAE Sirigere. So in that meeting, UNAE Sirigere, being a lawyer, he mediates between them. His court was old. Whose court was old? Yes, the old man or gentleman or Don Anselmo's coat was old and green in color, but it was faded. So color faded. The green coat was faded. Got it? I thought of Senator Chitradurga. Dear student, who is the Senator Chitradurga? Come to the glossary. Senator Chitradurga, Thomas Benton Chitradurga, a senator from New Mexico during the time of 1912 to 1917. So he was a Senator Chitradurga there. Who is that? Thomas Benton Chitradurga was the Senator Chitradurga, like our member of parliament in India. Our member of parliament in India, in New Mexico, yes, they are called as Senator Chitradurga. During the time of 1912 to 1917, Senator Chitradurga was Thomas Benton Chitradurga. Got it? The author thought that when Don Anselmo or the old man comes or enters into the office of the author, he looks like Don Anselmo or old man looks like a Senator Chitradurga. So the author thought that yes, it was Senator Chitradurga. It looks like Senator Chitradurga. Means he comes as if a Senator Chitradurga, who has been such a power with these people up there in the mountain. Senator Chitradurga usually has power to maintain all the people in that RIO MEDIO or in the mountain. Perhaps maybe Bhushaha, it was one of his author thought that perhaps it was one of his old Prince Albert. Who is that Prince Albert? Come to the glossary. Long double-breasted coat. See, his coat was comparing to the coat of Prince Albert's, like that. He wore gloves. Don Anselmo had worn gloves. They were old and torn, and his fingertips showed through them. He has worn gloves, and we can see his fingertip through them. So they were torn. They were not in good condition. Gloves were not in good condition. We can see the tip of the fingers of his hands through them. Then he carried a cane. He also brought a stick cane, but it was only the skeleton of a worn out umbrella. So the stick which was brought by the old man, it looks like the skeleton of an umbrella. Skeleton of umbrella, I hope that you understood. The cloth, the outer cloth of the umbrella was removed. When you remove the upper cloth of umbrella, so only sticks are remained. So this umbrella looks like a skeleton. skeleton of an umbrella. So he brought that. Then behind him, the old man comes with one of his innumerable kin, a dark-young man. One of his innumerable. What is meant by innumerable? Innumerable means uncountable. Kin, relative. He comes with one of his relatives of the village, a dark young man. The young man, dark young man, the boy is having the eyes like a gazelle. Gazelle is animal. He is having the eyes like a gazelle. So this is his appearance. Dear students, now the question may ask like this, take down. Describe the appearance of Don Anselmo or the old man when he enters to the office of the author. So this is the description of Don Anselmo when he comes to the office. When he comes to the office, yes, he looks like a center cattle. His coat or dress looks like a Prince Albert's. He took a cane. It looks like a skeleton of an old umbrella. And then he wore gloves. We can see tip of his finger through them. And he accompanied a dark young man who is having eyes like gazelles. So this is the appearance of Don Anselmo. Now come to the third para. The old man bowed to all of us in the room. See, when the old man enters into the office room, see how he greets them. He greets when he comes to the office. He bowed to them. He bowed before all the people in the office. And then he removed his hat and gloves. He removed his hat and gloves from his hands. And slowly and carefully he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully. Dear student, can you guess why he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully? Yes, basically they were not in good condition. So he thought that if he had removed the hat and gloves quickly, then the hat and gloves would have torn into pieces. So only for this reason he did not remove hat and gloves quickly. So instead of that, he removed gloves very slowly and put it on the table carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture. See, when the old man did this activity, when the old man removed his hat and gloves and put them slowly and carefully on the table, see the scene of Don Anselmo, this scene of Don Anselmo brings the acting of Charlie Chaplin in a movie to the author. Yes, he did as if Don Anselmo did as if Charlie Chaplin did in the film. Charlie Chaplin once did that in a picture in a bank. See, in that picture or a movie, in a bank, he was the janitor. In the movie, he acted as janitor in the bank. So Charlie Chaplin was also did in the same manner. So that is why his doing all these activities brings the memory of brings the memory of Charlie Chaplin to the heart. Then he handed his things to the boy who stood obediently behind the old man's chair. See, before he is going to sit on the chair, Don Anselmo, or the old man, he handed his things to the boy who accompanied to him. He handed over hat, gloves and stick to the boy who had come along with him. Then, see, this is about the arrival of Don Anselmo to the office, or appearance of Don Anselmo, and then the description of the beauty of property of Don Anselmo, or the old man. My dear student, come to the check your understanding. Share your responses. The first question: the old man was dash. Fill in the blank with the most appropriate word. First one. 4 alternative answers are given there. You should select among one. You should select one among them. A. Understanding. B. Quick. C. Unhurried. D. Witty. So which is the right answer? The old man was unhurried. Got it? Do you think the ancestors of the old man lived in RIO and MEDIO? Right answer? Yes. These are the questions which are provided for your home. Got it? Then question number 3. A word in line 4 of paragraph 1 suggests that the old man was a farmer. Pick that word. We should pick the word which symbolizes that the old man belonged to the farmer family. Fourth question. Study the picture which is given below and describe the old man's orchard by using the words given below. Dear students, write a paragraph by saying this picture which is given below the statement by using the clues are there in the bracket. A small stream, unpleasant, fruit bearing trees, old fashioned house, an attractive one. You should write at least 8 to 10 sentences of paragraph by using all these clue words. Then question number 5. In paragraph 2, the words who and these refer to dash and dash respectively. You should write. Go through the second paragraph. And then question number 6. Look at the picture and draw your inference about the old man's appearance and his social or living conditions by observing the picture of Don Anselmo which is given right side of the box. By observing the picture of this old man, you should write the social appearance or social condition of the man. Question number 7. The word innumerable kin means that the old man had a number of dash. Yes, 3 and 5 alternative answers are given there. You should select one among them. A. Children. B. Trees in the orchard. C. Relatives. D. Followers. E. Kings. Which is the right answer? Yes. C. Relatives. 8. In the Indian context, the eyes of women are compared to fishes, which are called as Meenakshi. Yes, the eyes, the women who are having the eyes like a fish, we can call them Meenakshi. Meenu, meeninantha kannu unnavulu, meeninantha kannu ullavalanu navu Meenakshi anta kariteve. Hogtane? Like that, lotus, Kamala, Kamalakshi, based on their shape and size. Why do you think the eyes of the boy are compared to gazelles? Can you write in the Kannada what we call for gazelles in Kannada? Yes. What is the synonym in Kannada? Harina. Gazelle andre Harina Kannada. Like we denote gazelle in Kannada is that the girls who are having, or the women who are having the eyes like gazelle. See, what name can be called? Can be called? Yes. Harinakshi. Like that. Question number 9. How did the old man greet the people who had been waiting for them? Earlier discussed. Write it down. And then question number 10. The old man removed his hat and gloves carefully. A. Was he afraid that they would get spoiled? Yes, I should write that. B. Whose style did it remind in the writer of? Whose style did it remind the writer of? You should answer all these questions. Got it? My dear student, I hope that you understood today's class very well. Got it? Now, remaining things will be discussed in the next class. Got it? Thank you.